What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. We are getting nearer and nearer to me having a fully functional voice. Great news. But hope you're all doing well. Welcome back as always. We're here Thursday night, bringing you all the latest in cryptocurrency content. Equally having some of the finest Yorkshire tea available, by the way. I highly recommend drinking Yorkshire tea. It is worth it. So another kind of wild day in the markets, I think it's fair to say, with Bitcoin yet again testing significant resolve. Whether you have the conviction for this market, whether we missed the top, or whether we are blindly holding on like the fools that maybe people would believe we are. We're going to try and get into not necessarily what to do, because I think you have to kind of be in that place where you make that decision yourself. But we're going to try and walk through what are the key things that I'm looking at. What's some of the important things that I think is worthwhile, and equally some of these important levels I think is worth sort of touching on as well. So quite kind of a time to get into quite a lot of stuff, and again worthwhile just kind of looking at it. What I would say before we sort of go into the live stream really is that this was a broader market sell-off. All right, so as much as people might be like, oh, Bitcoin is this, or Ethereum is a scam and all the rest of it. It's a broader market sell-off. Yes, cryptocurrency's got a bigger proportion of selling pressure, but, you look at the S&P down 1.1. We'll talk a little bit about what that was and why that sort of, pushed the market down quite significantly. And then I guess the debate is always going to be, what is the price of Zcash? Well, it's going up. I mean, Zcash is literally the coin of this cycle, isn't it? Which is kind of wild. And then, again, what are we looking at? Because what we don't want to do is just follow a, fall on the falling knife. Trying to either, I was going to short the market again today. I couldn't get in for some reason. I missed my point. And every time I've FOMO traded, I always lose out without a shadow of a doubt. If you're like, I'm going to try and catch this fall, always lose it. But anyway, with that being said, don't forget, smash up the like button to bang your all-time high. Let everybody know that we are live. Do share us out. Again, you can click the little button here somewhere. I think it is on TikTok. Give us a couple of little taps on the screen. Would appreciate it. Get your daily heart me's in, all that kind of stuff. Massively just helps the algorithm to push the channel out and push it to more and more people. So, Nadar, welcome in 37. Good to see you, man. Hope you're well. Mark Doby, what's going on, buddy? Griff in the building. Welcome in, guys. Kevin Sextons, what's going on, pal? Good to see you, man. Tony, still bullish here. Let's get it, Tony. Love it. XRP is king from Messaleo. What's going on, buddy? Welcome in, JFR. Good to see you, Tim. Privacy is a matter for Q4. Check out XCL. 2-bit needs. Need a 2-bit silver lining tip today, Mark Noby. I've got you covered. And then welcome to the audience here on TikTok as well. So Tom, good to see you, man. Welcome in BR95. Juggernaut85 in the building. Welcome in, Matt. Good to see you, Alf. What's going on? BR says, can you check out all for me? Yes. Remind me a bit later on though. That's okay. Marco, what's going on, buddy? I am not TJ. Well, I'll bring the real TJ back. He was way cooler than you were. What's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Kyle's here as well, Kevin. By the way, if you've got any questions, thoughts, opinions, views, I absolutely welcome everyone's view, because look, it's not my thoughts. I'm not an expert at all. I've been around the crypto market since 2017, lost a shit ton of money. Done okay in terms of making a little bit of money. Again, I'm not saying I'm some sort of genius in this market, but I've been around a while. So if you are bullish, then this is the place for you. Likewise, by the way, if you want to join the amazing community that sits around us, don't forget to check out the link to the Discord. It is in my bio, as well as the description, by the way. It is a totally free Discord. Get yourself in there. Great community. We're heading up to nearly 300 people in there right now. It'd be great if people just talked in there, but we'll get there eventually. If equally you want to get some trade setups, as well as using our bot that's going to tell you all about technical analysis on certain coins, then you can just grab a subscription here on TikTok or become a channel member, as many other people are. So shout out to all the channel members as well, and you get access to that premium service, as well as some new coin launches, etc. Always do your own research, never financial advice on this channel. Right, any XRP holders here? Man, I think half the channel is an XRP holder. That being said, let's do it. Let's get into it. TikTok, I'll see you guys in like 5 minutes. Let's talk about what's going on in the markets today. Let's go to the 12-hour chart, because it is a little bit better ish. All right, very much not ish. Everything seems to have peaked in January, and it's just been a bull trap ever since. Well, I mean, you'd argue everything sort of, we got the big full run. Everything sort of peaked October time, didn't it, really, at the minute? I actually think the October spike was bigger than the January markets. particularly for altcoins. We had obviously Ethereum running, but yeah, at the minute the market is very poor. Let's just call a spade a spade. We're not sugarcoating anything. Remember, all we're gonna do is look at the facts. That's it, right? We're not here to pass unbiased information, or we're just gonna look at the facts and then we're gonna try and determine what that looks like post the facts. So, what do the facts look like on the shorter time frames? 12-hour, 4-hour, 1 hour markets look crap, right? Let's just call it as it is. It's not until you get into slightly bigger time frames, the 3-day, weekly, and monthly candles, that we kind of look a little bit more favoritism, or a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more, oh my God, what is happening on the screen? A little bit more optimistic, let's say that, because at the minute, we're very much not there. And sentiment, by the way, I think feels very bad as well. Now, you could read that in two separate ways. You could read it in the way of, well, maybe the reason sentiment is bad because the sentiment is bad, and we should be worried, and the market's going at zero, and we're all, clinging on for dear life, and it is absolutely going to ruin us. Or we just need to click on the 5-year chart and it turns green. That's the important thing, isn't it? Gotta love a meme. All right, gotta love a meme. So I guess, what are we seeing? Short-term continuous selling off. Now, there is some interesting stuff going on. Again, I'm not going to tell you that this is the crux of everything and that, we found a secret loophole and all this kind of nonsense. But once again, all we're going to do is look at the facts and make a decision based on what we've got in front of us. We will be a lot better off when the name's about to work. Well, I mean, that is true. When we get the government reopened, that's now at $1.1 trillion. We'll take a look at that stuff a bit later on. But here we are. Now, the important thing, I guess, on this move a little bit, if you are sitting on a slightly more hopium avenue, is we didn't wick to the bottom of those candles. So the bottom would have been around 99,000, which means that, well, technically we're still holding up, all right? Not in any way, shape or form good news, by the way, but we are still, short-term holding up, I think is probably where you get to. If you wanted to take a really, really, really super basic Fibonacci, you're probably going to do it at the 4-hour chart, actually. And you sort of, ideally we need to push back above the 101.837. That's what I'd look for as a potential support level. But yeah, it looks pretty painful here. It isn't until you get out a little bit further. The weekly candle still importantly holding that 50-day exponential moving average line, or the 50-week moving average line. The big green line. This is the kind of be all and end all. If you were ever going to hold on to anything, this is the line to hold, which technically we are doing right now. And then the monthly candle, albeit has broken this trend, it is only slightly, and a wick back to 106 all of a sudden validates this trend back again. The difference here is that on the monthly candles, we only ever dipped below it here back in September. If you remember, people were obviously calling the end of the bull market there as well. So again, important just to reference some of these key levels that we have. You'd probably argue that, that's probably about right, actually, in fairness. So again, on the monthly we saw here, look, so we definitely saw these two bits. I bet if you went back and looked at September and October's sentiment, by the way, they would definitely feel pretty bearish in 2023. But like I said, again, we can push back up relatively quickly on this. If you look at where we've had historically patterns pushing back to the upside on the red candles, you generally get a decent wick at the bottom of it. Obviously shows that we do get volatility through the course of the month. We haven't got a lot in terms of where we currently sit on there. So look, worthwhile noting. Big yellow line, by the way, I was having an argument with someone on TikTok last night, which was all just around the longer term view of kind of where the BTC price is right now. So look, that's kind of playing out there. I think at the minute we obviously need to stick in the 12-hour and the daily candles just to kind of give us a view, more importantly, as what's going on. A couple of things to note, by the way, just on the day. Interestingly enough, treasuries all came down quite significantly. This is good news. This is obviously a 30-year treasury as we move nearer to that $1.25 billion. Was it $1 billion? $1 trillion? I can't remember. Was it $1 trillion? But yeah, most of the treasury is actually down, which is, one thing is, well, that's good news. Same time, it absolutely could be in a world where we're pushing these down, by the way. So, yeah, worth noting. And then obviously we've got the interest rates at 4.3. We're waiting for those to come down. What was the other chart that I put on? I can't remember what it was. I thought it was down here. Oh, it's here, look. The Fed balance sheet now sitting at $6.59 trillion, which again is important to think about. This is down 0.04, 2.5 billion in just the last 24 hours. So again, if you were to look at a little bit higher time frame, specifically when you get to the Fed balance sheet, this continues to sort of show that downward trend that's coming, which historically, when we've seen bull markets, it sort of goes back potentially the other way. So look, worthwhile noting that. In terms of actual coin, near protocol, a really decent move. ICP continues to print, as does Zcash, by the way. I mean, that is an absolutely ridiculous chart on Zcash, by the way. But hey, who am I to question that? Fetch AI having a little marginal run. The rest of the market's looking pretty poor all in all. Fingers crossed we can get a little bit of a push on BTC. So I guess let's take a look and see what's going on. Richard said, I turned on notifications. Richard, if you've already had 3 notifications today, then YouTube won't tell you, unfortunately. You only get 3 notifications in a day, but that's how it is. What's going on, GC? Good to see you, man. Welcome in. Milkshake, bringing the boys to the yard. Welcome in. Good to see you. Give me a follow, guys. All in crypto. I will, mate. Let me, after the show. Calvin, what's going on? Welcome in. GC, dropping it with the GGs. Thank you, man. I appreciate that as well. So that's the kind of chart. I'm not planning to go through loads of them, by the way. I don't necessarily think it's the most important thing. They're red. It's not great. BTC dominance up a little bit, as well as overall market sentiment on the the macro side of things. 3.32 trillion, excuse me. 3.32 trillion on the overall market cap. So we're sort of down to, I guess, where we found that support previously. Just not great that we saw a push down. We shouldn't have well, I say we shouldn't have got the push down. It sort of the day started okay, actually, in fairness, at 104, and then, sort of pushed all its way down. But it is what it is. That's my view. And we can either embrace it, or we can be like, the market's an absolute sack of spanners, and who gives a flying fuck. So, okay, let's get into a couple of bits, and let's talk about a few other bits and pieces that we need to be aware of. Beeves, what's going on? Jazz in the building says BTC's going to 60k. I'm not sure I agree with you on that one. I'm not sure I agree with you. You'd have to give some legitimacy to your claim. So the question would be, why would it go at 60k? Grease gang, back at work in Iraq. Pleased to say I have a good job with this PS. Guess I'll just go sleep and wake up in 2020. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. 97k then. Moon. Interesting. Wow, you guys are super bearish right now. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Stardog, good to see you, man. Welcome in. ADP payroll data, lowest in 20 years. Yeah, so we got an additional 42,000 jobs. There is bad news with jobs, though. This is the problem. There is definitely bad news with jobs. So, again, we'll touch on that in a minute. New to invest in any tips? Yeah, wait. Wait at the minute. Depends. New to investing in crypto, but you've done it in Forex, or you're just brand new to investing. If you're brand new to investing, you've never invested in anything in your life, practice. This is not the. I don't think crypto's the game for a lot of people. Cryptoversy, are we going to be okay? Well, let's talk about it. Let's get into a bit of a fact-finding journey, and let's try and make a decision at the end of it as to what we think and where we think the market's going to go, because I think that's all we can do right now, isn't it? We can either embrace absolute bear market vibes and sell everything and just be like, right, cool, I'm in stable coins, all the risks gone, I don't really care anymore, sweet. Or we can try and decipher what may be coming next. Now, Bitcoin definitely pushing down right now again. So we have to beg the question, who is selling the Bitcoin? That's the question, isn't it? BlackRock, Binance, who the hell is selling? Why are people selling so much Bitcoin? Bits Plays, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Well, for that, we have to understand what and who is not buying Bitcoin. This is a very different point. You might always have significant sell pressure, but if you don't have the buy pressure to then offset that, then this is where you might just see the price come down. That doesn't mean that it was going to go down forever, because at some point it has to change back and come back the other way. But let's try and dive into some charts and try and just see exactly what is going on. Over 2 million Bitcoin now has been accumulated by ETFs and active Bitcoin treasury companies, over 10% of the entire circulating supply. So they've got a pretty big bag. Institutional demand continues absorbing supply at record pace. How much upward pressure does it create long term? That's the reality, isn't it? At the minute, they've all slowed their buying. That is the harsh reality. So yes, we are seeing some selling out of institutions, albeit we didn't see a load yesterday. What we're not seeing is insatiable buying demand, and that's the difference. If you think about the run up to that all-time high that basically no one even knew we'd sort of done, was very quiet and was just an accumulation of a lot of cryptocurrency. There wasn't really anything super, super crazy going on. But I think what's different is that we haven't seen this kind of crazy buying pressure. And you can see it here, look, for example, BlackRock at 3,600, they continue their onslaught of selling, now up to 9,442. So remember, these are just people that hold the shares. in BlackRock. Not necessarily BlackRock, the actual company, but important. ARK 21 continues, albeit they revised their forecast on BTC price as well. So that isn't a surprise to me. And then we see a little bit in terms of Grayscale. Again, there are. So Fidelity continues to buy. They've bought nearly 2,000 Bitcoin this week and a couple of others. But obviously the big one, 10,000 Bitcoin, you're talking $1 billion of outflows from BlackRock alone. You can see, though, what I think is interesting here, how this is all sort of playing out. And yeah, we're seeing some dumping. And yeah, by the way, we've seen this before. So you can see a lot of this. We went through a phase back end of 2011, back end of May. And then we sort of saw the price rally back up again. So, we've definitely kind of seen some of these big selling windows again. The question that we have to answer is this the end? Is this, BlackRock and all these other corporations are just going to dump Bitcoin forever and exit, $18 billion into the market? Maybe. Maybe. We don't know yet. Head and shoulders, I don't know. You had Dandruff. I don't. What's that? M2 imminent inflows from the 7th? Yeah, so we have been on a bit of a quiet move. Check out the weekly chart, chat for the same chart. Check out the time frame. Type that again, Rich. That was a bit of a confused one. Seems all retail buying is going into the Zcash. Is a coin on steroids. Yeah, it is wild. In fairness, the Zcash coin is absolutely ridiculous. So again, this kind of aligns to this fact. This factor here is, though, they still hold a significant amount of Bitcoin. They're still holding it. What changes the game is ETFs. How do you change ETFs? Get the government back to work. For me, that's going to be the big important bit. Think about it. You could have entities that are involved in BlackRock buying exposure to the crypto markets that are not being paid right now. 675,000. Think about it. Air traffic controllers. We looked at it the other night, didn't we? $120,000 not being paid, right? Military not being paid. So there's a lot that's out there that, could be involved in this market. Maybe they're like, oh shit, I need to pay some bills. Like, what the hell, bro? Check out the weekly chart for the same chart. Check out the time frame from April 15th to April 2017. Looks the same, upward trend. Well, I have got you covered. I don't even need to go to the chart because guess what? We're going to talk about all of that. And I actually have 3 charts that we're going to walk through and talk through and basically mimic the April move from 2015. We're going to talk about all that in just a little bit. So you read my mind, Richard. Legend. So yeah, so that kind of gives you an idea of where that is. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, Ali Charts here giving us a view of the grey shaded line, by the way, is purchasing of Bitcoin, over 10,000 Bitcoin bought by whales in the last 24 hours. So yes, this aligns to exactly what I was talking about. We are seeing selling pressure at the minute. This sounds like people are going to be like, I can't believe you just said this. Clearly, there is more selling demand than buying demand. All right. And I know that. All right. I'm not saying it for like weird effect. I'm clear on that. I think what's important, though, is that does that change? Remember, we're not here to shill any other, we're not here to shell specifics. We're here to walk through what is viable. What could we get next, really? Luke says it's all going to go crazy. I hope so. All we need to do is hold, ride $sign. What's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Given that what we just talked about, again, you can see here the total number of Bitcoin currently on exchange is 2.14 million Bitcoin. Again, you can see here, though, that chart isn't screaming that everyone is dumping Bitcoin into exchanges. We can actually look specifically at the chart, which we'll take a look at in just a minute. But, another reason why you could say, well, maybe, just maybe, I'm not quite as bearish as I should. And once again, we talk about some key levels to hold. The 50-week moving average is obviously a big one that we've been talking about. That is absolutely critical in terms of that holding. But like I said, Ali Chart giving us a very interesting view here. Now, let me just try and pull up that start of the 26th. It'll be time to buy. Ooh. One must not underestimate M2. Yeah, I mean, kind of. I think aligned with a few of the bits and pieces. That'd be my view. So, the other thing to think about is this going to let me do this. We're going up, up, up. It's our moment. The bull run's not over. Because it's freaking better not be. Oh. So if we take the Bitcoin exchange inflows, so the amount of coins going into Bitcoin, we could do it in a bar chart, might be a little bit easier. And you can get a bit of a feel for kind of what's happening here. Now, we don't have the full up-to-date. We got yesterday's data, which, we're seeing significant inflows. Nothing that we haven't sort of seen prior, though, to be honest. And these levels, albeit slightly elevated yesterday on a pump day, very much quiet on the dump days. Kind of interesting to think about how that is. You've also got exchange withdrawing transactions, which I think is worthwhile, just touching on a len, which is very similar. Look at this. So these are extracting cryptocurrency from an exchange. Okay, well, they're elevated at the minute while this selling pressure is going on. So much as, yes, we are seeing sell pressure and, 100 million, nearly $1 billion coming out of BlackRock is going to dent the market, I'm sure. It definitely feels like sentiment on a certain point is the one that is selling. And again, we're not here to say either way. We're here to talk facts and make a decision on the back of it. Buy gold, silver, and XRP and wait. Like your style. So again, worth noting, by the way, exchange withdrawal transactions, deposit in exchanges, just to give you a bit of a flavor as to kind of what this looks like, is we actually are actually seeing relatively similar levels that we saw all the way through. If you wanted to go out a little bit further and look at the fact for the year, we're actually seeing even less than we've seen pretty much most of the year. So gives you an idea that at the minute, this is why I said to you guys, like, it just doesn't feel right at the minute. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to blindly hold into the abyss and come out of this market with absolutely nothing up to show for it. Just stuff doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. And I think with the government shutdown, all this kind of crazy stuff, you kind of a bit like, oh, well, we'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, pretty interesting there for Mali charts. Right. The 2015 view, look at this. April, Bitcoin fell 30%. Oh, this is, sorry, 2025. Fell 30% to 74K before rallying 70% to 126K. Several indicator marked the low in the hindsight, including MVRV, supply and loss and percentage in the 365 moving average. And the RSI today, the same indicators are signaling a potential reversal. So all the stuff we saw for that reversal back in April is playing out exactly as it is. Now, none of this is new. We've talked on this, albeit we don't look at the 365 moving average, but you can sort of get a feel for, again, if you come out on a higher time frame, what that's sort of looking like. And yeah, this week's a bad week. Let's call it as it is. Is it the start of the bear market? Maybe. Is it not? Who knows? It's kind of one of those things, isn't it? But I think what's worth noting is not that or that, but past evidence doesn't necessarily mean that the same is going to happen in the future. But like we always say, history doesn't tend to repeat itself, but it does often rhyme. And I guess the catalyst that we had, insatiable buying, institutional buying, what's different now? Institutions will still want to buy it. The only difference is you're potentially going to start to see a little bit more accumulation from banks, which I think is sort of an interesting one. But yeah, this is all sort of playing out similar. Again, by the way, if you're brand new here, just hit the like and subscribe button. I am going to get into some stuff that we need to be wary of. This isn't just like let's bull post the shit out of this stream, because there is some stuff we absolutely need to be mindful of, and more importantly, we need to kind of get stuck into. So yeah. Howard says, traders beware, leverage is a whale's playground. Your stop outs are visible, so bots hunt them, taking prices. Yeah, exactly. If you've ever put a trade on, all of a sudden you're like, hold on a minute, what the hell? Like the price just dumps like $500. That's why. 5.7 says, took profits on the way up, 126, have 10% left to exit this bull cycle. I'm okay with whatever now. That's the great place to be. Great place to be. Ask the engineer, says, too bad, how you doing? I'm good, man. I'm good. Welcome in. I'm going some old school attire this evening, wearing some Kangol, you know what I mean? Proper OG hoodie, but yeah, good to welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Don't forget, tap the screen, drop a couple of heartme's if you feel like it. Give us a couple of popular upvotes. That'd be great. Pushes the stream out, pushes the algorithm out, lets us know what's going on. So yeah, I'm bullish on that. What's going on, Rob? Good to see you, man. Welcome in. So again, as much as we can sort of digest some of this stuff, there are some macro stuff we need to be aware of. We'll talk about that right now. So job cuts. Bum, bum, bum. So we got the ADP report came in pretty favorably. 42,000 new jobs were created. It's actually the best move since July. A lot of it in the private sector. So it's not as clean as maybe just seeing a bit of a boom in the sort of, in the public sector to a degree. But this is bad news, all right? This is bad news. So this is jobs that have been lost. Now, you can put it down to AI, you can put it down to profits, whatever you want to put it down to. The fact of the matter is that currently in October of 2025, this is the worst job cuts that we've had since back in 2023. So if you've got a labour market that people are nervous of rolling over, you've got a Fed that's watching the labour market and is basically changing its monetary policy based on that labour market, this is the last thing we need. Bad news. And actually this data got dropped. If you look at, you can even see it when the data came out. Go to the Bitcoin chart here. You can literally see when this data came out, which was here, this massive dump down. 4 o'clock, this got dropped, which I think is like 9 a.m. US time. So This is definitely aligned with, obviously, the repo that we've been talking about the last couple of days as well. That you need to keep your eyes on that, what's happening with the repo debt. Because the reality is that if we start to see that, yeah, Bank of England kept it the same. I'm not surprised. We're all going to get totally effing screwed when the budget comes out. Just, I hope you guys are ready for that, by the way. Hope you're ready for that. Like, be prepared to get absolutely obliterated if you're in the UK on that budget. Just saying. Just saying, it's going to be pretty painful. Now, the good news on repo debt, just again giving you some updated information, 10.7. I said, look, 6 billion, we're probably golden. And I think we are edging our way nearer to $6 billion. That would be generally in line with what we see on repo debt as an average. So that's kind of where we want to get to. If you take the average that we generally see, look, you're sitting around the kind of, the sort of higher range of sort of where we've been predominantly. So, you know, repo debt's not going to be the craziest thing that we've seen while this market cycle's been on. So we are definitely coming down. Once we get to some sustainable levels, then this is way more, you know, I think people will be less nervous about it. But yeah. Jobs we lost here in the businesses. Yeah. I mean, again, it's depending on where you are. So for example, in the industry I work in, which is obviously retailing, like I can't employ enough people. Literally, I've put an advert out for someone to come and run in one of my units, and I'm paying £50,000 a year. £50,000. I can actually go a little bit higher. I got £52,000 a year, which I think is about $70,000. Is that right? That's what I'm trying to get someone for now. The US dollars is 68. Yes, I wasn't far off. So that's what I'm currently trying to recruit for at the minute. Which is proving to be quite difficult, actually. And even my like junior managers, I'm paying them 30 grand, which is like what, probably nearly $40,000. So, Axe bullish on Jasmine, let's get it, baby. Taxes on Daxes, I mean that's true. Yeah, the budget is going to be bad, by the way. What do you think about XRP? Pretty bullish so far, and I thought Ripple Swell was great. Go and check my XRP video out live on YouTube. Dropped about 3 hours ago. Definitely worth a watch, by the way. Summarized a little bit as to what was going on. So, anyway, repo debt we sort of touched on, and I think look, this is bad news. And as much as Trump did that big announcement today, which is great, the GLP-1 or whatever it is for US citizens is going to be super cheap. Great. This is where he's going to have to try and do something. Otherwise, it's going to get painful. Now, government reopening will definitely support this to a degree. But, you know, what you don't want to see is like another bad print and another bad print, because that's going to take us to a pretty bad place pretty quickly. Unfortunately, I think. So, again, worthwhile just noting on that. Now, again, interestingly enough, though, when we look at the opposite side, wherever there's fear in the market, there is also opportunity in the market. And you can see here that Pro Crypto Quant addresses, we sort of just looked at this, but 300,000 Bitcoin over the course of the last 2 months, from 130 to 262. BTC showing whales are accelerating their buy. So, you know, someone's buying. That's the harsh facts of the matter, is somebody right now is buying Bitcoin. The trouble is people are selling it quicker than people are buying it. So we do need to be mindful of it. What you've also got here as well, which never helps, and this is a really interesting and I guess quite provocative. Is that the word I would look for? In terms of a chart, maybe not. But again, it's bad news. I mean, why are... Let me roll back a little bit, actually. The short-term holder realized profits is basically when people bought it, when they sell it, what was the ratio? Did they make money or did they lose money? Look at this. This is the third worst short-term holder capitulation we have seen since 2023, right? Short-term holders are fucking dumping their bags at a loss, at a record loss, by the way. Record loss. I mean, that's insane to me. I mean, it's freaking insane to me. Bear in mind, this is not leverage trading either. So this isn't like, this isn't just liquidations on trades. Like, this is genuinely people going, right, I bought it at $125,000 and I'm going to sell at $100,000. Like, it's literally people doing that. Now, again, that might be the best of a bad situation. You sell it, maybe they sold at 105,000 right now. That's a great idea. We've dropped even lower. Maybe they're going to buy back in. I don't know, but it does put some perspective on it. Whenever you've got this, what does this also tell us? Well, it also tells us that the market right now, or certainly the newer holders of digital assets, are shitting themselves that this market's over. What do we generally, what do corporations, you know, people with no feelings when it comes to investing thrive on? It's fear in the market. So much so that, look, put your tinfoil hat on. All of a sudden, even when you look at institutions, you've got BlackRock dumping. That's just the people that hold the shares in BlackRock thinking, God, I need to get out of this market. Like, what the fuck? Like, it was 125K. like a month ago, and here we are, like dumping to oblivion. Everyone's telling me it's going to 30K. Like, I'm out. So I thought this was interesting. Loads of people super uncomfortable with the market right now and are just dumping their bags unequivocally, irrationally, selling at a loss. I mean, it's insane to me. Again, if you're in some like random meme coin, then fine, but I'm not sure that, you know, just dumping your bags is there. Four-year cycles over will take time for people to accept it though. Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff. Well, it depends, doesn't it? It depends. Is the 4-year cycle over? If this truly is the start of the bear market, the 4-year cycle is intact. If we go into 2026 and we actually see a little bit of reversal coming in, then maybe the 4-year cycle is not true. But I think if we were going into a bear market, then it probably is. But did anyone see a market crash coming correctly? Gordon Brown declared an end to boom and bust just before the GFC in 2008. I mean, that's true. Yeah, give me another about another 8 minutes, BR95, and I'm on it. It'll be the first thing I'll look at. I've got a few more charts I want to show people. So again, important to think about that one. Right. Good news though. This man is determined to pump our bags. Stephen Mirren, again, advocating, as did all the others, by the way. Christopher Waller as well. Christopher Waller, of all the people in the Fed, saying, I think we should cut rates for December as well. Like, holy crap. Like, all of the federal rate governors have gone, yep, we should definitely cut rates. Like, get those rates cut. But this is the importance why the markets are shitting themselves. So they're like, hold on a minute. We got a bad jobs data, not job creations, but jobless claims and job cuts. So these are obviously what we've seen. Then they're obviously like, oh dear, this is bad news, right? This is bad news. So again, this is kind of worth noting. But like we said, Stephen Mirren advocating for a 50 basis points cut in December, pushed us to 70.9% on terms of the CME. Again, he's there for a reason. Did the Simpsons predict any of this? I don't think so, but hey, you never know with the internet nowadays and modern day AI. That's why AI is taking over. You don't need any people to paint pictures. AI does it all for you. But anyway, Stephen Mirren is bullish for us. Okay. Last few bits, and then we'll get into any coins, thoughts, charts, whatever you want to talk about. We'll get into it. But Bitcoin wallet flow, and I thought this was something worth noting on as well. This is obviously the BTC spread in yellow. Inflow into new wallets, outflows into red wallets. Actually, today, albeit the price is coming down, we actually did see a little bit of inflows. What does that mean? People are taking off exchanges. We can quantify that with what we've already looked at in terms of did the exchanges or what, you know, kind of what is going on in terms of that. The reality is that we yet again see a stacking in particular wallets. Which is good news. So you kind of, all the data suggests that, well, the market should be going up right now. Really, it should be going up, but it's not. It's not. Let's get some headlines. What's going on? Kathy Wood adjusted her Bitcoin price predictions. They've gone to 1.2 million. Oh my God. From 1.5 million in 2030. So as much as we might want to hope that we're going to get there this week, it's not going to happen. They did actually review their forecast for 2025 and dropped it a little bit, stating that stablecoin markets are, you know, taking up a little bit, and certainly people will start transacting way more with stablecoins than we've seen before, which, you know, could be good news or might not be. But, you know, Kathy Wood's very much like, ooh, let's see what happens. A miner's about to sell more Bitcoin. Mara Digital have announced that they will be selling a proportion of their holdings. Now, again, is it the big deal? No. Bitcoin miners have been dumping for ages. In fact, we can even look at this chart that tells us that Bitcoin miners have been dumping, and they always do. And bull markets generally, or push ups in the markets, generally come after whales or mining have dumped their bags. So, you know, it is kind of interesting in that narrative, shall we say. I just need to find out which chart it's on that I've got it on. Which chart is it that it's on? Can't remember. Is it this one? Nadar says, so no bull run. Well, I mean, you did get $126,000 Bitcoin. I can't find it, but I mean, again, we can live in hope, and hopefully we get there. What's going on? What's going on? The Rocket, albeit I know you're not called Rocket, but anyway. How about Shiba Inu? Zuz, I mean, meme coins, I'd leave a little bit alone, because the reality is there isn't enough liquidity to go around the rest of the market. So I've been buying like a mother trucker for the past few days. Robert's got his conviction on. Now, again, like we said, Fed, Williams, Hammock, and Barr made critical statements to the for the Fed today. John Williams emphasizing that real-world monetary policy relies on data. Got to get this government back open, and then we'll actually get some strong data. You also got a little bit of Hammock stating the Fed is facing pressure to achieve its dual mandate. It won't. Let's just call it as it is. Hammock said the labour market may be more fragile than the official data suggests. Of course it is. That's why they don't want to release the data. That's why you end up with what we got, which is bad in terms of people, being laid off. Tron, I mean, Tron's Tron, in it. Like, is it going to set the world on fire? Probably not. Justin Sun staked loads of Ethereum, though. I don't know if you saw that. Justin Sun went macro bullish on ETH again, which is kind of wild. But yeah, so we'll have to kind of keep a very close eye to it. We'll keep a close eye in terms of some of the macro data that's going on. More importantly, we'll keep an eye on the charts because I do think this is worth it. While ever you've got significant volatility, which we have in the market, we have to tread cautiously. Certainly watch out as to what's coming because we've got to make some decisions fast if it all goes to shit. So important to reference that. BR93, what was the coin you want me to look at? So let's close all these. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, thoughts, opinions, let me know. And we'll try and get into it. ORE, mate. Okay, let's have a look at that. Is it a DeFi? Let me see if it's on here. It is. Well, what is this? Oh, man. I can't stop yawning tonight. What the hell is wrong, mate? $278 freaking dollars. Wow. I mean, it looks wild. Why is it doing so much volume? It's doing 5 million in volume with nearly 18,000 holders. I mean, it's definitely a big breakout. I don't know what it looks like on a higher time frame. But, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty strong breakout. Last 2 months, it's been pumping to oblivion, up 50% today. Fair play. Fair play. I mean, look, could it go up? Yeah, probably. It looks very, very, very overhyped, though. That's the only thing I would say. So, if you were going to get into that, look for an entry would be my view. And be very mindful that that is significantly up based on where it should be. And today is the biggest candle it's printed yet. So, again, I'd be mindful on that one. Good Abend aus Germany. Brandenburg, best wishes to you and thanks for your work. I have one question. Is XRP still good? And what will the price do? Daniel Otto. Willkommen zum die Live. Ich heiße Michael. Wie geht's? There we go. Just practicing a little bit of German. You know what I mean? I'm from there. So my view would be, by the way, my view would be, is XRP still good? Yes. What you have to do with XRP is forget the price. You have to look at what's going on at the macro. XRP is not going to pump to oblivion tomorrow. Probably isn't going to pump to oblivion this bull market cycle. But understand what's been built around the background of it. The fact they've got Hidden Road, the fact they've got Prime Brokerage, the fact they've now acquired G Treasury. They've just recently raised $500 million at a $40 billion valuation. Think about that. Think about that. Have we looked at where would that put them? Company valuations. Hold on a minute. I'm curious as to what that would. Top company valuations. There we go. Global company data 2025 is what we look at. A bit of fear in my mind. Yeah, I mean, look, there is definitely fear in this market right now. Definitely fear in this market. This does not help me. Companies ranked by market cap. I don't really want market cap, though. I want valuation. Oh, no, actually, is this going to work? It's in pounds. I don't want it in pounds. I want it in dollars. Give me it in dollars, bro. There we go. Right. Okay, yeah, we're cool. We're cool. So, $40 billion. Where would that put Ripple, just out of curiosity? It would not get us in the top 10. Okay, so it's not like super crazy, is it? XRP and Sui for me. Swamp, what's going on, pal? Welcome in. Does the evaluation take into XRP hold? I mean, it's not even a real valuation. It's just what they raised it on the IPO as. So I wouldn't have said so. I wouldn't have said that. I mean, well, it probably is actually. It's probably just everything chucked in as one, isn't it? So if we were on a $40 billion price, you would be 572nd. So it'd be like nearly a top 500 company in the world at a $40 billion valuation. It's not the worst, is it? It's not the worst. It sounds pretty scary. We haven't had an altcoin season and the bull run is somewhat over. Well, the bull run is only over if we break down some of those key levels, in my opinion, by the way. Extreme undervalued, 40 billion. They have 80 billion in the escrow. I mean, that's true as well. You could never sell it all at once, could you? But did I see Bitcoin go down, XRP go up, the bull run will come. King Kong's pretty bullish on there as well. So yeah. Interesting. Extreme undervalued. I said that, didn't I? So again, I mean, oh, by the way, this looks pretty crazy. So let's keep an eye on this one. But yeah, that's my view on Ripple, by the way. Pretty bullish. I think it's got a lot to give. I think it's got a lot of momentum to come with it. Likewise, I do think you have to just reject the price. I mean, Cheese, there's definitely a debate right now of being able to buy the rights to an escrow, which maybe is to why they're in so many different wallets. They buy the rights to the unlocked. Maybe. I mean, I was thinking about this the other night. I think they just sell the rights to the banks. A little bit like Gringotts. Do you know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden it'll be like Bank of America have got an escrow with 100 million. I mean, that is how they could distribute XRP out into the banking sector, if you think about it. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Been waiting so long for an alt run, a good few years now. Yeah, I mean, haven't we all? I mean, and in theory, everything aligned for this bull market cycle. It's just been a weird cycle. We pumped to new all-time highs before the halving, which is insane. You've got, a president now that can tank the markets with one fucking tweet. Equally, he can pump the markets to oblivion. Like, you've just got one of the hardest, most emotionally draining markets in the world. I mean, when we were sat here at the bottom of the bear market looking at FTX collapsing, I genuinely did not think it would be a bull market like this. I was like, this is going to be fucking easy. Like, we're buying Solana at $8. It's going to be great. Turns out it was definitely not that case. What you think is a safe liquidation price on XRP? Or if you're trading it, depends. Are you a long-term trader, short-term trader? I mean, where's momentum telling you it's going right now? That's what you got to think about. Where is momentum telling you? And that is maybe what you've got to try and look at and, ascertain a potential move. I mean, there is an argument to say that it is entering a buy zone right now. So, what's gonna push the market up? What is the injection that's going to make this change? Well, you've got ISO 222 launching. You've got Fed rate cuts coming back end of, 10th of December. Government shutdown, that's going to be a big thing. I mean, we were looking at this the other day. The TGA account, I don't know what's in it at the minute. Let's see if we can take a look. But, the reality is that money is going to flow pretty rapidly back out to people. And therefore, you might get a move in the market. That's the reality of it. Whether we do or not is a bigger debate. But where is the TGA out of curiosity? Is anyone going to have put this on here? So the Treasury general account now holds over $1 trillion. It's about 150 to 200 billion above average. Now, we could do some logic work, just as a bit of a kind of thing on historical data that could give us an idea of to that $200 billion. So based on the laws of averages and past data, if the TGA account in the US has a surplus of 200 billion, where would you think that would be invested? Let's see what it says. 100k XRP at 0.35. I'm not selling unless it drops to 0.35. I think that's true. Clarity Act. I mean, that's a big one. That is a big one. So, yeah, maybe. So when TGA rises sharply, which it is doing right now, money market rates tend to tighten slightly because liquidity is absorbed, which we talked about before. Within a few weeks, as the Treasury spends down the balance, liquidity returns often flowing into money markets and short duration treasuries. Well, you know what a money market is, baby. So, reverse repo market, could see it, investment destinations. could also be a big thing as well. So historically, TJ is over the target range of about 750 billion. That's where they want to try and get to. So where could it go? The reality is Treasury eventually spends its way down, liquidity re-entering the system and tends to get invested in short-term money markets and Treasury bills with some spillover into broader asset markets, e.g. equities, via risk-on sentiment if liquidity is abundant. So the more money you have, the less rates you've got. Generally, people will be more inclined to go more risk-on versus risk-off. If people want to go more risk-on, where does that end them up? It ends them up in Bitcoin. So, whether that's going to be the case or not, we'll see. We'll see, but yeah, I mean, 221 on XRP right now. It's not the worst price in the world. We'll keep an eye on BTC. Thought about it. I didn't need the money. That's it. Why would you not sell some at $3? I mean, it's a good point. Nitro, the 2-week RSI, 3-year triangle broke down, confirmation in 4 days. Let's get it, Nitro. Let's get it. So yeah, I mean, that could be a thing. Equally, by the way, assuming that we get the government reopened, which I think a lot of people thought we were going to get today with the Trump announcement, and it didn't sort of deliver on that, did it? End up being a bit of a nothing burger, but look, that is life, unfortunately, isn't it? That is just the way that the cookie crumbles, and unfortunately, that's the way we just got to live with life. So, well, we'll see. I am still remaining neutrally optimistic. And I said yesterday, didn't I? Really, right now, the only line I care about is this big green line here. Really. That's the only line that is a bother to me. And that sits about 100k. So if we close the week out above 100k, fine. If we don't, bad news. Also, ETH needs to turn around. Yeah, true. I mean, ETH did come down, retesting this lower support, has broke beneath it, but right now, again, on the 50-week moving average. So we'll see. Airweave. Is Airweave really moving? That's wild. That is wild, bro. I mean, that's true. Phantom wallet, although I have a funny feeling you're not the actual Phantom wallet. If you are, DM me. Let's work something out, but I don't think you are. Storage coins pumping. Yeah, I mean, privacy coins are going crazy as well. ICP's up there, near protocols looking pretty good. Zcash up 10.6%. Like, what the fuck? Bruh, what? Anyway, counting them all. BC rotation, smaller caps all season, boys. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. I'm down for it, by the way. I am down for it. I mean, there's still lots of opportunity in the market. Again, we just have to be, I think tread with caution is definitely where I'm at right now. I think if you are overly bullish, you could end up being wrecked. And if you are not bullish enough, you may actually miss out on, potentially more upside if we were to get a turnaround in the market, which I think is going to be important. But we've got to get that token and we've got to get that turnaround, more importantly, and see kind of where we get to be honest. Bought a small bag of Thorchain. I heard about that the other day. Clarity Act, 24 ETFs, 5 acquisitions, big deal with MasterCard. ETF November 13th. Let's go. Question is, why would I sell? There you go. Yeah, Rob, exactly that. Sensible stops if you're trading. I mean, right now, unless you know what you're doing, you are trading relatively low margin, then I just wouldn't be trading these markets. Like, there's way more opportunity that'll present itself, even if it's a short term and a short opportunity. You just got to be mindful of that. But yeah. Do you think that's more is safe? Do you think Phantom is safe? I mean, I wouldn't put my entire portfolio on it, but as wallets go, hot wallet goes, I mean, I've had no problems with it at all, actually. In fairness, it's been pretty good to me. I just wouldn't have my entire portfolio on there. Don't believe on fixed dates. They give what happens, it happens. It's gamble long term. That's true, Nelson. That is true. Don't forget, everybody, do me a quick favor. Give us a thumbs up if you're here on YouTube. We'd appreciate it. Also, if you're here on TikTok, tap that screen, lock in a couple of likes. It 100% makes you feel better. So, yeah, if you want to do that, that would be great. If you don't, then that's fine. You don't have to. Like, I'm not saying you have to, but it'd be nice if you did. Sandra, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it. So, yeah, if you do have any coins, thoughts, opinions, views, whatever, then let me know and we can sort of talk through what that looks like and we can sort of talk through where we sort of get to. So, and hopefully we get to a place we want to answer the question. I'll put the poll up to the end. Oh, my God. I've been live 45 minutes. I'll put a poll up in about 5 minutes time, which will just get you bullish or bearish. Every time the price drops, I buy more. Last week it happened 7 days ago. Yeah, tell me about it, King Kong. I know that feeling. We know that feeling. So we'll look at the. I mean, are the pre-markets a good indication of it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I think the bigger one is definitely government shutdown. Getting that done. If you get the government shutdown over, that should be a bit more optimistic. Polymarket, by the way, has amended its odds. I don't know if you guys saw this, but they've now gone. Either a free 50x play on this is fake news. You'd think the odds would be higher at 2% if that was even a thing. So again, you've got a pretty obvious one. Will the government shutdown end November 14th is where a lot of predictions are going in right now. 2 million in volume, which is pretty crazy, isn't it? But like I said, if you're not a super keen trader, I would just sit tight. Like sit tight, see where you get to. Let the markets play out, let the market decide what it's doing, and then make your move on what you kind of want to make your move on. So just my view, by the way. Good. All right. Well, let me know any coins you want to take a look at, anything that's on your mind. We'll definitely bring those charts up and try and get in. Again, don't forget, if you haven't already hit the like button, and also if you haven't hit that subscribe button, I would highly recommend it. Put content out every single day, as well as live streaming 6 days. Now, there is some bad news though, people. I don't think I'll be here tomorrow night. I have yet again got to go away with work, all right? But I might do a stream Saturday night, maybe. Don't hold me to it at the minute. But I won't be here tomorrow night because I have to go and do some work stuff. So I apologize. I will try maybe to try and do a TikTok live, but I don't think I'll be able to. But just in case, make sure you're over here. Oops, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're locked in. If you want to grab a channel membership, dead easy. Come over to the channel here. Look, just click on that join button. But you got all your latest content, whether it comes to XRP, Bitcoin, market analysis, as well as a couple of good projects, new analysis, whether it's taxes, exit plans, and much, much more. Lots of action-packed stuff here on the channel. So do go and check it out if you're interested in all of that good stuff. Then highly recommend it as well. And that's where you can find the link to this live stream. Come in here and be like, yo, 2-bit, subscribe to the channel. I'm super bullish. All right, it'd be great if you could, by the way. Get the old algorithm moving again for me. You guys are great. Okay, good. Bitcoin just narrowly below 101. So yeah, I mean, maybe XCL, yeah, had a little bit of a cool off, didn't it? 8.4 milli. I did see that they now have their full functioning forks formula, whatever it's called. So that's good news. That is good news. Don't know if you guys have seen ATM as well. We called this in the Discord, or I called it in the Discord. Hopefully you guys have grabbed it, sold it, flipped it, whatever. We put it in what did it go in at? $1.29 million market cap. So slightly below what we called it at, but it did wick up to, we called it back then 2 days ago. So it wicked up to 2.01 million or something. So you'd have got maybe a 2x out of this. Again, this is obviously still pushing as well a little bit. So at the minute, it's having a pretty good ride. So again, if you got in there, if you want to get involved in that, by the way, you can simply grab a channel membership here on YouTube or grab a subscription on TikTok. You get access to that premium Discord where we have all of that stuff. Also, new one hopefully coming. So much so that they actually have had to adjust the VC investments because there's so much demand for it. So make sure that if you are a channel member, by the way, you're watching out for that. We'll announce that in there so you guys can see it. In my opinion, which is going to be pretty bullish. So watch out for that. Good. I'm afraid of people expectations price increasing on XRP when the ETFs are released. If it doesn't meet their expectations, it's going to dump really hard. I think don't forget the Rex Osprey ETF had $100 million within a week. It's pretty big volume. So I think XRP ETFs will do well. They appeal to a slightly different market as well, which I think could be good news. XTC news today. I haven't seen anything. Is there something like super crazy news on XTC? I haven't seen anything though. Recent news regarding XTC includes the acquisition of Contour Network to boost financial digitalization. The launch of a 10 million DeFi surge. Interesting. What's the price doing? Is the price doing anything? XDC. I've not got it. I thought I had. I mean, it's very marginally. I mean, Casper's up weirdly 2% versus XDC, so. Still, it's up. That's the important thing. Vincent, what's going on? Says, hey, boys, been a while. You all look tired of too much winning. Has anyone talked about ICP woke up, but why? Well, that's a bigger debate. That's a bigger debate. We don't know why. He just kind of went crazy yesterday. Daniel Otto, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Zegut, Dankeschön. Talk about Tron coin. Tron. Am I losing my mind right now? I feel like I know what that is, but then at the same time, my mind's gone completely blank. Daniel, thank you so much, man. We're here 6 days a week. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. That way you're updated every time we go live. Oh, Tron. Oh, yeah, I've talked about Tron before. My view is it'll just grind its way up. It's got a very good ecosystem, and there's a shit ton of money in there. Remember, it collateralizes 3 times its entire liquidity pool, so they've got some big money over there. Remember, Justin Sun bought an Apple on a wall for 6 million and ate it. That's just someone with too much money. Ciao, 2-bit. Timber, what's going on? Welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. I don't know a lot of Italian, by the way. I'm sorry. I can ask for the bill in Italian. That's about as good as I get, to be honest. Which is good. But yeah, Tron, I mean, just go and have a look at the ecosystem. That would be my view, by the way, of the Tron. And I think it's got a lot of good potential over there as well. Is my view. Good. All right. Well, let's keep an eye on what's going on in the markets. Yeah, it looks like 101 is definitely not feeling it tonight. Not feeling 101 as a break. We're definitely still in a downtrend. We need to kind of break this downtrend. It'd be a nice little bounce off this range if we could get it. Volume seems super weak, though. So whether we actually are going to or whether we even would is probably a bigger debate, isn't it, right now? It doesn't feel like it. Foreigner, welcome in. Good to see you, man. Like the 2 little ghosts at the end of it. Welcome. Revives in the building as well. What's going on? Good on TikTok. Welcome. Good. All right. Well, if you guys want to talk about anything, let me know. If you don't, I'll just keep rabbiting on about whatever I can rabbit on about. I mean, we still don't really have a lot left for this week. Let's take a look at what's coming next week, though. Feg, what's going on, buddy? It's been a minute. So we know Jobs was a bit naff. We also know that the ISM wasn't particularly great. So what have we got coming tomorrow? Oh, brilliant. Non-farm payrolls. Oh, shit. And the unemployment rate. Hopefully non-farm payrolls tends to be like, okay, but could be quite painful tomorrow. Because actually all of this is going to give us an indication of the job market, isn't it? Now, if it all comes in bad, it could absolutely signal the Fed is going to cut rates, maybe even cut by 50, but I think it's unlikely. But look at some of these expectations versus forecasts. They're way behind. Way behind. And then next week, CPI next week, baby. Thursday, November 13th, CPI. Oh boy, let's see where we get to. CPI inflation rate, 3%. I mean, whether we get it or not, I guess is the debate, isn't it? We may not even get it. But yeah, best bet for me was BIT and XRP. I bought ETH 3 years ago at 2000. Wish I had never bought ETH. Well, I know that. I mean, we bought, the best ones I think we had is definitely XRP. We bought like 35 cents. And Solana at $8 was a steal as well. A steal. Man, I feel like these lights are hurting my eyes a little bit. Oh, turn it off. It's better. More bad news. Well, it's predicted to be 3% versus 3% forecast. So 3.1 inflation year over year. So core inflation is the one we need to look at, really. So core inflation looks like it's going to stay flat. Probably not. It's probably not that big a deal, actually, to be honest. Probably not that big a deal. And we get PPI on the Friday. That's going to be a big one. PPI will basically tell us whether tariffs are still impacting that or not. Remember, it was deemed by Jerome Powell that, the tariffs was like a one-time, non-transitory tax. I mean, by that point, I don't think we will, by the way, but by that point, we may have even got some indication of where the Supreme Court's going to rule on Trump's tariffs. I think the reality is, I said this earlier, that I think it goes to way into next year, probably April 2026, maybe even May 2026. So I don't think it's the biggest deal at all. I think what could be a little bit painful is I feel like Trump will, at every opportunity, dig the tariff things out. Because however you look at it, it's done as a headline, done all right. Whether that, isn't passed on to the consumer is a bigger debate, and that's why PPI will be important on that Friday. So Friday the 14th, keep your eyes peeled, baby. Man, it feels like we've got some crazy days coming up. Tomorrow being one of them, by the way. So, yeah, keep your eyes peeled, everybody. Agreed, April, May 2026. Yeah, they're not going to push it through now. As much as everyone was getting like freaked out by it, they're just way not going to push it through now. Just in my opinion. Invite 2-Bit Crypto UK 1 to join. That's not me, by the way. That's some scammer. So please, please, please. Oh, I've invited him to the stream. Oh, dear me. I didn't mean to do that. Sometimes I keep spamming invites to them. Any specific reason for the drop today? Jobs data was rubbish. Was rubbish, really. Oh, wow. The 2-Bit scammer is live with me. Oh, they went. Oh, bro. Come on. Come on. The 2-Bit scammer did a runner. Oh, man. Get out of here. That's what happens when you come into this live stream. Unlike others, you get brought up on stage and humiliated. Anyway, yeah, the job losses was bad, really bad. The worst we've seen all year. So yeah, that's why we got a bit of pain in the markets today. Now, Bitcoin trying to fight its way back up. When you're at like negative 3%, I mean, it's never going to go anywhere, is it? 2.7K down. What would I hope for a break back above? 1017 perhaps, probably a little bit higher. 101, 102 would be good. Tariff screws this whole cycle so it continues. I mean, yeah. It's just a very bizarre cycle, isn't it? It's a very bizarre cycle that is a difficult one. Yeah, scam the scammer. Scam the scammer. Just be mindful, by the way, if you're on TikTok, I am not messaging you. I don't message you. It's not me. So please, please, please be mindful. It feels like my screen's got a bit weird. It feels like it's not recording properly. Anyway, there's the link to Discord, by the way. If you are interested, just click the link. It's going to give you all the way to here. Look, the 2-Bit bunker. Get involved, baby. All of the stuff you need. It's an action party. You guys see it. That's super annoying, bro. That's super annoying. Anyway, get involved. Lots of stuff going on. You can absolutely get super bullish on what is going on in the chat. It's totally free Discord if you want to get involved. Again, here is the Discord, so you can see there. People chatting away, some charting, people talking about all the things going on in the market. Definitely get involved. And like I said, if you want to get even more bullish, then we have the chat request, which is one of the bots, which can give you instant access. There's our alpha calls, and then you've got breakdowns of market analysis and much more in terms of what's going on. If you want to get access to that, like I said, grab a channel membership. It's about $8 a month. Definitely worth it. If not, just get involved. All right, jump yourselves in. Highly recommend it. Okay, good. Number one rule: trust no one or phishing. I mean, that's true as well. Does this set the standard for future cycles, or do you think? That's a good question. I think, and we talk about this, and even when you look at the logarithmic scale on the Bitcoin, the sort of macro chart, again, what you can see here is you're just not going to get these kind of crazy mega moves anymore. This sort of feels like this is kind of how it's going to play out, really. And eventually, either what will happen is mass adoption, and then you'll get like another potential, just a massive spike up, and then it'll start again, or it'll just kind of continue to plateau and continue to kind of push to the upside. But yeah, I think depending on what institutions do, and probably depending on how institutions play it, means that yeah, you'll end up with continuous upside move. I just don't think you're going to see the sort of crazy 100x moves. I mean, if you look at, for example, take the first bull market 2011, the bottom of that bull market to the next one, a 43,000% increase just ain't going to happen again, is it? It just isn't going to happen again. That'd be like, as right now, getting to, $45 million per one Bitcoin in 3 years. It's just not going to happen, is it? So that's where it'll start to get different. And you can almost see it, can't you? Look at that big wick here, slightly smaller, slightly smaller, slightly smaller. And then whatever this is going to be, I mean, that's another indicator, by the way. We haven't actually haven't actually hit the top of this curve. So you could argue there's still a bit more to, push on the monthly, but difficult one to call, I guess. Difficult one to call. Do you mean you won't message me? Kim, waiting for you to send me that 22p. I mean, that's true. So Green thoughts on XRP. Bullish on XRP. Yeah. 221. I thought Ripple Swell was good. We watched it last night live here on the show, or we watched the closing arguments from Brad, which I thought was good. But yeah, I mean, I cover XRP on my YouTube channel pretty much every day. So if you want to stay up to date with what's going on with XRP, then definitely go and check my YouTube channel out. Hit subscribe. I reckon it's probably worth it in my opinion. Tesla shareholders approved Elon's bid. Was it $1 trillion? Holy shit. Tesla. Let's have a look. Let's see what Tesla's doing on the back of that. It's going to dump, isn't it? Surely. Oh, markets are closed out there. I think it'll still push down though. 445. Interesting. JFR, thanks so much, man. We'll hopefully catch you. Or JF Remix. Hopefully catch you. I won't be live tomorrow. I don't think I will be anyway. Look out for notifications, baby. Everything is planned. As long as you do nothing, you'll benefit from just waiting. I mean, that's true. Can you look at Jasmine? Yeah, boy. Yeah, Jasmine. I've been seeing more and more about Jasmine recently as well. Now, again, let's call Jasmine from where it is at a very low historical bottom right now. That is a painful bottom that was coming in back here in April. So, we need the markets to move with us. That's the reality of it. But yeah, I keep seeing a lot more on like social media about Jasmine, which, that's good news, isn't it? But all three chais almost at the bottom, ready for another huge alt season. Probably happen next run when no one holds alts. I mean, that might be the case. Total 3 looks pretty boring right now. Dynamics says best time to buy Jasmine these. Well, I mean, Binance still have it, don't they? Like Binance is still locked into Jasmine, which is interesting. Sui under $2. Yeah, 197, bro. Again, I mean, look, my view here, and I said this before, I'm just not buying anything right now. I have stablecoin. I probably should. This is where I should eat my own words. But if my conviction is that the bull market is 100% nailed on, then fucking hell, I just go out and buy shit, don't I? But right now, I just think I want to wait and see what the weekly close looks like, because I think that will dictate what the market sentiment feels like, and potentially then, what that looks like afterwards. File took profits. Who did? File. Don't buy, hold, or lose out. That's true. Who's File? As in Filecoin. I don't know what you mean, Todd. Let me know. Casey's in the building. What's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Welcome in. But yeah, there's lots of debate on the Federal Reserve as well. The fact that they could be late, interest rates are late. They should have, cut rates way sooner. Blah, 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 blah. Who knows? We will never know. But let's just see if there's anything coming in right now. I've been here, just tap myself out. Oh, no dramas, mate. Investors selling US stocks. Professional investors sold 5.1 billion in single tech stocks last week. Okay, cool. Bitcoin touching the weekly at 50 EMA. We talked about that. US stock market wildly expensive. Again, we've touched on that before as well, that the actual stock market is way overvalued, which could be another reason why the frigging market falls to pieces. But ISM Service Employment Index came in at 48.2 in October, marking the 5th straight month of contraction. We touched on that. Ray Dalio warns the Fed is inflating a little late stage bubble by easing policy, saying that it may lift hard assets but single deeper economic declare. Okay, cool. Cool. There isn't really anything else going on right now. It's all a bit quiet out there. I think everyone's just a bit like, what should I do? So let's start our poll. What are you feeling right now? Question mark. Bullish market, still good. Bearish market is bad. Although, hold on. We should do bullish, still holding. Bearish, still holding. Bearish sold. And we're not going to do a third one. Let's leave it at that. Right. We'll do one on TikTok as well. I'm curious what you guys think. Paul and let's do that. Let's do that. Right. So we've got thumbs up is bullish, the heart bearish. I'm trying something a bit different. All right. There you go. Vote by, I think, I do think it costs you a coin, by the way. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it's a coin. All right. So I'm going to break the bank, I'm sure. Dar says, yeah, what should I do? I was counting on the bull run there. Well, I mean, that's true. Let's see what the sentiment feels like. Let's see what the sentiment feels like. Casey's gone bullish. Get it, Casey. Thank you as well for the thumbs up. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Bullish dead coins are rallying now. I mean, it's great. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Zebek, I mean, it's kind of not Zebek. If you look at Zcash, I mean, it's wild that that thing's moving. Absolutely freaking wild that that's on its way up. But broader market, not so much. Although, you know, Bitcoin trying to push back up 101.2. It's just not enough, is it? That's the reality. It's just not enough. But hey, such is life. I own Tesla and will continue to hold Tesla, robo-taxis, energy storage. If Elon gets 1 trillion shareholders, we'll get paid as well. I mean, that's true. That's true. There we go. The quick vote was a thumbs up and it was bullish. You guys still very much on bullish on TikTok as well. Sorry, on YouTube as well. So yeah, interesting. Interesting. Many people still bullish on this market. So let's hope that that plays out. Fingers crossed. Okay, not so much on the daily on BTC. I mean, what are we looking for from a potential break back above? I mean, even historical lines feel like we're, well, you're probably there, aren't we, in fairness? In fact, that is probably a key line there, I would argue. That is probably as good on the daily as we've seen. 101, you know, well, yeah, 101. So maybe we get a bounce. I think a close higher than yesterday's open would be good. I think. But we will see. We will see. People still bullish means more red coming. Nitro. Well, yeah, I mean, there's an argument that says if people are leverage bullish, that's an interesting one, isn't it? If people are like, yeah, I'm prepared to dump more leverage trades on. Let's take a quick look at that, actually. I don't know where people would say. I imagine people are still pretty... Because people will be trying to time the bottom, won't they? In my opinion. This one. People still, yeah, it's making lower lows in the daily. So you can see sentiment there, very much bearish, very much downtrend on the 24 hours. The outlook for the week, by the way, very bearish as well. In fact, you've got some pretty big liquidation levels and pretty big trades actually on right now. So, yeah, I mean, at 108, you're at 1.5 billion. So, definitely market sentiment is very much down. You know what happens sometimes? Todd says government will open tomorrow. Do you think? Pretty wild if it did. Salzabil says buy dip. Don't listen. Rumors. Don't panic. Big pump coming anytime soon. Let's hope so. Yeah, I think the government opening would be a good thing. I think the government could be good news. So yeah, I mean, we are very much printing lower lows, aren't we? You know. I mean, you to use that on. That's how we need to bounce back above 105. That's kind of a first price target we want to get to. Yeah, a new all-time high until 2-bit sells. I mean, I did think about it. I did think to myself, maybe I just need to put a really big short trade on, and I imagine then the market will pump to oblivion. But yeah, it doesn't feel like that's going to happen just at the minute. Look at that line, by the way. Look at that line on the Fibonacci. 0.5, exactly where I drew it. Oh, pretty freaking neat. Look at that. Look at the lines of respect on these trades. So, yeah, I mean, that's the line to hold, isn't it? 105.43. 0.5 Fibonacci, baby. That's kind of where we need to get to. That's where we need to get to. Break below that, you know, or a close above that. Below that might be pretty painful. So, again, look how good that level is, by the way. Did you see what happened when Trump spoke? One of his men. Yeah, I saw that. I did actually see that, which is kind of wild to think about. But I imagine it's like, imagine the Oval Office. I bet it's like mega hot in there. Like Trump's sat there in a massive like desk. Everyone else is like proper in like tins of sardines. I imagine it gets proper hot. I bet there's camera lights and all sorts of stuff. I bet it's like, fucking hell. What is happening here? What is happening here? Still. Right. Fibonacci's. Good. Thank you. Man, I can't wait to get rid of this cough and stuff. Cannot wait. JP Morgan still estimating the next 6 to 12 months 170k. Yeah, I still think there's a lot of macro bullishness out there, to be honest. A lot of big, you know, banks, corporations, treasury companies, all pretty optimistic where the market's going. I mean, shit, though, if you're going to get $18 billion dumped on the market, that's going to be the problem from BlackRock. Not that I think that's going to happen because it'll be insane, but, you know, if you just get a point where you have relentless selling, they're just going to be like, right, well, screw this. Screw this. I'm going home, everybody. What's the point? What's the point? Anyway, we can only hope, can't we? We can try and make the best decisions possible, and hopefully, we will we'll certainly see some more upside move. That is the plan. Shame about the bird flu going around. Yeah, there's always something going around, isn't there? I haven't been able to shit this now for about a week. Ryan, we buying or selling? I ain't doing either. Sitting tight, seeing what's happening, watching some key levels, watching some key resistance, 0.5 Fibonacci's, just kind of seeing what's happening, bro, and seeing what the market's going to tell us what to do. Show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, baby. That's kind of what we need to look at. And so far, right now, you know, we're sort of well, we're not okay actually, because that is the you know, that is the honest answer, isn't it? But you know, we've got the descending peaks, 3 descending peaks, and at the minute, that's generally seen as a bearish pattern. So, you know, it is what it is right now. We need a slightly different play out. I mean, you could argue maybe the head and shoulders pattern, but it broke down after the head and shoulders here on the daily. So, Ryan, it definitely is, mate. Yeah, it definitely is at the minute. A lot of indecision in the market, I think. I think people want the bear market to be, or like don't want the bear market to be here. I think people's judgment might be getting a bit clouded. That's why I'm saying whatever that weekly close is, if we close below the 50-week moving average around between $98,000 and $100,000, I will definitely take some money off the table. Definitely. Like I said, I haven't put any more in. I've got stable coin, not crazy money, but I've got some stable coin that is a decent amount that is just sat there and I'm waiting to see what happens. So we'll see. We'll see. Vern, is Vern here? I haven't seen Vern. Is Vern even in the stream? There's a few people that don't turn up anymore. Holmes, I haven't seen him for about a week. I think everyone is that frustrated with the market. Everyone's like, screw it. I can't be bothered. I can't bring myself to do it. But yeah, I haven't seen Holmes for a while. I haven't seen a few actually. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Right, everybody. It is nearly 10:15 my end. That does mean it's about time for me to get off. Do stay close to my socials. I will obviously post it in the Discord as well. If I am going to go live tomorrow, I've got a big presentation I've got to do Saturday morning of all days. So yeah, so I've got a presentation I've got to do Saturday morning. So I'm actually staying over. That's how big it is. Staying over on tomorrow night actually to do it. So yeah, keep close to the socials as always. I will be back Sunday night, maybe do a stream Saturday night as my missus is away. So I have the option to do it in fairness. Maybe we'll do, should we do a members only live stream with like a little cheeky giveaway? Should we do that? Bullish! I think we should do that. What should we do? Let's do it. Take Buckley's taste like but it works. I don't even know what Buckley's is. I'll take your word that it tastes like crap, though. I'll take your word for it. Right, as always, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into the channel. I appreciate all your hard work. I appreciate your support, by the way, as well. If you do get a chance to watch some of the content, just drop a like, drop a comment. 37's an absolute legend at it. It just boosts the algorithm. It just lets YouTube know that this content's worth pushing. Again, if you could, that would be absolutely fantastic. Likewise, if you haven't already hit the like button on this live stream, really would appreciate it. And don't forget, check out the links in the description if you want to get into the Discord. Check out the bio, and that's going to get you in there. Totally free Discord to get involved, by the way, which I think is good news. Okay. Until then, thank you so much, everybody. I will be back maybe tomorrow, maybe Saturday, but definitely Sunday. Stay close to all on social medias, and hopefully we'll see a nice Bitcoin rally over the weekend. Thanks, everybody. Catch you guys soon. Take care.